Dimitri Payet at West Ham in the 2015-16 season was just one of those special seasons in which a player and team really clicked. Payet is of course an excellent footballer, but he was also coursing with confidence at that time, and particularly his ability from set pieces was mind-blowing. Crystal Palace knew what to expect when they travelled to Upton Park in April 2016 then, with Payet already having scored picture-perfect free kicks against Bournemouth, Blackburn Rovers and Manchester United in recent times, and they planned accordingly. A giant 7-man wall was assembled and the route to goal seemed nearly impossible. As Payet struck the ball, someone in the Crystal Palace wall shouted "See ya" as the ball looked to be rising and rising. At that moment in time though, I'm not sure there was a better free kick taker on earth than Dimitri Payet, and his seemingly cloud-bound strike dipped inexplicably into the top corner of Wayne Hennessy's goal in what was quite possibly the best free kick we have ever seen in the Premier League. Now, I'm aware that this video may seem a little silly, and it will probably prompt some to claim that the channel has, quote, run out of ideas in the comments. In truth, this was a suggestion from Rory on Instagram, and whilst I initially thought that it was a bit daft, probably like you are now, back when I started this channel 3 years ago, I made plenty of short, silly videos, and I thought why not do a throwback to those days with one today. Don't worry, I'll be back to bore you with a documentary about a player from the 1930s, or detailing how Portugal's colonisation of Mozambique gave them their 2 best players in the 1960s before long. But for now, here are the 7 players in the Crystal Palace wall that were beaten by Dimitri Payet's wonder strike back in 2016. Where are they now? Wilfried Zaha, Crystal Palace. We begin this 7, which is obviously in no particular order, with Crystal Palace's main man Wilfried Zaha. A man who we can safely describe as a Palace legend at this stage, Zaha ranks 7th in the Seagulls' all-time appearance charts, and top during the Premier League era. The London-born Ivorian international's quick feet and constant threat have been pivotal in maintaining Palace's Premier League status over the last 6 seasons, although he was actually a little less decisive and electric this season, only scoring 4 goals. Nonetheless, interest in Zaha remains high, with the 27-year-old having been linked with Arsenal, Tottenham and even a surprise return to Manchester United. Zaha is heavily linked with the new club virtually every transfer window, but something feels slightly different about it this summer. Reports indicate the White Man is pretty set on leaving Selhurst Park, the time for him to make a really significant move is running out, and Roy Hodgson seems somewhat resigned to the fact that he may lose his star man before the start of next season. Yannick Bolasie, Sporting Club de Portugal. Whilst neither player was as brilliant as Dimitri Payet during the 2015-16 season, Yannick Bolasie and Wilfried Zaha did form an electric wing partnership with their pace and flair, making Palace a handful for any opposition. Bolasie is pretty tall for a wide man at 6'2", and that's probably why he found himself in the wall defending that brilliant Payet set piece. The French-born DR Congo international was actually Palace's joint top scorer in the Premier League that season, albeit that only required a tally of 5 goals, and the following summer he made a £25 million move to Everton. Bolasie started brilliantly at Goodison Park before suffering a horrible ACL injury in December 2016, from which he has never truly recovered. The setback largely put pay to Bolasie's time at Everton, although he is still contracted to the Toffees, but he spent this season on loan with Portuguese Primeira Liga side Sporting Club de Portugal. Damien Delaney, retired. Damien Delaney is a club legend at both Hull City and Crystal Palace, and a footballer who is very difficult to dislike. Always a better defender than he received credit for, Delaney joined Hull City in the old 3rd Division under his old boss Peter Taylor for just £50,000, and it wasn't until the age of 32 that he first played Premier League football for Crystal Palace. Delaney went on to play almost 200 games for Palace before returning to the Republic of Ireland, where he spent a season with Cork City and a season with Waterford before retiring in July 2019. Joel Ward, Crystal Palace. Another long-term Crystal Palace servant and another man who stands at over 6 foot, Joel Ward added plenty of height to a powerless Crystal Palace wall back in 2016. Signed by the Eagles in 2012 for just £400,000 from Portsmouth, Ward has proved to be an absolute bargain. Versatile and defensively solid, Ward is excellent when defending one-on-one, and he is just 4 games away from reaching 250 appearances at Selhurst Park. Ward lost his place at right back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka for around 18 months, but following the fullback's big money move to Manchester United, Ward has been more involved this season, playing in 28 of Palace's 38 league games. Jedinak, retired. I told you it was a big wall, and at the heart of it was Crystal Palace great Mile Jedinak, who Wikipedia says is 6 foot 2 inches tall, but he always looked bigger than that in midfield. At his best, from 2012 to 2015, Jedinak was both literally and figuratively massive for Crystal Palace, dominating games in midfield through his strength and willingness. His 5 seasons in South London came to an end in the summer of 2016 when Jedinak dropped back into the Championship with Aston Villa, and the Birmingham-based outfit would prove to be the Australian's last club. Following 3 seasons at Villa Park, Jedinak surprisingly didn't receive what he would deem an attractive offer, and he retired from football, having been without a club for 12 months. Fun fact, Jedinak is the Australian national team's 7th highest goal scorer of all time with 20 goals, and he averaged better than a goal every 4 games at international level, compared to less than a goal every 10 games at club level. Joe Ledley, Newcastle Jets. From a retired Australian international to an active Welsh international currently playing in Australia, Joe Ledley joined Newcastle Jets on a short-term contract in February 2020. The tenacious Welshman joined Palace back in January 2014, just minutes before the end of transfer deadline day, and he spent 3.5 years at Selhurst Park. The former Cardiff City man left Palace in the summer of 2017 on a free transfer, signing for Championship side Derby County, where he spent a little over a season. The 33-year-old subsequently signed for recently relegated Charlton Athletic on a short-term deal where he made just 1 appearance before heading to Australia to sign another short-term deal with 8th placed A-League side Newcastle Jets. Scott Dann, Crystal Palace. We end this unusual 7 in style with a man who was a real titan at the back for Crystal Palace at his best, and his best probably was that 2015-16 season in truth. The former Birmingham City and Blackburn Rovers centre-back stands at 6 foot 2, which means this 7-man wall had a combined height of 43 feet, which is roughly the same height as a Brachiosaurus, which was a massive dinosaur that lived in North America during the late Jurassic era. Yet again, this is the type of information that you are highly unlikely to find on other football YouTube channels, where comparing the size of the wall that Dimitri Payet overcame at Upton Park in 2016 to the height of a mega creature first discovered by paleontologist Elmer S. Riggs in 1903 in Colorado just wouldn't enter their mind. We're operating on a different level here at HITC Sevens, so if you're not yet subscribed and you are interested in things like Scott Dann and giant dinosaurs, you should really join the HITC Sevens family now. Anyhow, Scott Dann is still with Crystal Palace, although his game time has reduced steadily over the last 3 years. That is it for today's video. Thank you as ever for watching. Give us a like if you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where the username is simply at HITC Sevens, and most importantly, of course, make sure that you are subscribed to HITC Sevens.